Around $6.50. Plenty of scratchings here, as you can see. Over the page, best of those is number 12, and that is Crystal Academy at $5.60 with support. And El Nino has had pretty good support as well. In fact, very good support into $5.90. That's on the tote. Let's find out what's happening in the ring with Tim Gossage.
Big going on Nino here, Pete. The emergency. It's in the favouritism. It's Tilt the Scales has got the blows completely. You're getting unders on the tote compared to the ring, but El Nino's the best back runner almost for the day.
Jenny Chapman's selection is El Nino, and it's also the selection from Dan Malicki here. I've gone for Tilt the Scales and a few others mentioned in dispatches for race 9. They're about to move into the gates. In fact, they're moving in pretty well now, and there are the selections and the map at the 1200 metre course right up at the top of Epsom Road, and they will come down predominantly the outside, you would think, from what we have seen earlier today. There is around 92,000 people in here at Flemington today. Dan Malicki and Gary Willits, as we see a couple of these getting a little edgy in the stalls. Just before we come to you, quickly, the thoughts of Roy Higgins?
I went with the 12 Crystal Academy. I think conditions suit. He's had a short break, looked excellent in the yard. I marked him on top of Bush Ball. He'll be happy in these conditions. Had a bit of racing, still looks okay. The 2 Tilt the Scales always runs well here. And the 11 Crate, a horse that caught my eye from the Hawks camp, was the other one. I marked them 12, 6, 2 and 11, Pete.
How did you mark them, Gary Willits?
Yes, look, I'm going to go for the 17 now, Peter. I noticed my original selection was a late scratching, Prince Rubiton, but I saw El Nino run at Geelong, and he ran it on a very good horse called the Expat, and he chased hard and ran very well there. And I thought the others had a chance with the 12 Crystal Academy and the 6 Bush Ball.
All locked away, they're racing. Jumping away well was Just Imagine, and they just make a beeline to the outside rail here with Crete, who's closest to the outside rail, with Heracles, Just Imagine, and Bush Ball and Keffel, the most inward of those horses that are sharing the lead. Continuance just in behind them with Tilt the Scales and Ruthless Tycoon. Let's Planet. El Nino's probably last at the moment. It just had a little bit of a bump with Crystal Academy. They run towards the 700 metres now, and we have Just Imagine, who gets up within about a half a length of Heracles. Heracles in the red sleeves with the blue cap. Just leading Just Imagine. Bush Ball pushed along. The grey is Keffel. Tilt the Scales is poised right behind them. Ruthless Tycoon just went by it, so it's handy from Let's Planet. Next came Crete in the all-white colours from El Nino, starting to weave a passage through, and then came Crystal Academy, who needs to get a wriggle on and Continuum under the whip. They go past the 400 metres now. Ruthless Tycoon went alongside of Heracles. El Nino getting out. Tilt the Scales next, and then Crete. Ruthless Tycoon went to the lead from Heracles. El Nino runs on, then came Crete. Ruthless Tycoon in front. Crystal Academy late. Ruthless Tycoon in front. Crete coming after it late. Ruthless Tycoon in front of Crete near the line. Ruthless Tycoon. Ruthless Tycoon has won it by a head to Crete and Crystal Academy third. Then Heracles, and El Nino looked to have its chance at the 200. Tilt the Scales next, and then Let's Planet, Continuum. Bush Ball and Keffel and Just Imagine got tired, and it was last.
Yeah, very nice win to Ruthless Tycoon, ridden by Darren Bevan, Jim Mason train. Got on that outside. Gee, there's a bit of pushing and shoving behind them, Dan.
They're all running for about 2 or 3 different spots, weren't they?
Yeah, they're all trying to hold their Crystal Academy got held up for a bit. Peter,
11, 12, Pete.
Not much room here, Peter.
No, there wasn't, and yeah, a fair bit of bumping and jockeys trying to keep their positions over the closing stages. We're going to have a look at the replay and pick them up about the 400, and there is Ruthless Tycoon, the eventual winner of the race. In second placing is the horse in the all-white colours, Crete, trying to get through. Of the others...
Back behind him is Crystal Fennell in the green cap there.
Yep.
Limey green.
And we've also got, now watch El Nino, and also the horse on its inside, Tilt the Scales, will come together for a couple of strides as well, Gary.
Yeah, they get quite a nice little bump here. Green Boss is just pushing Damien out of the way there to get through. And I thought at this stage he might go home over the top of him, but it wasn't to be. And Ruthless Tycoon fought on very well, right on the outside rail. You can see Crete, he's still got no room at all. Now he gets through. Ruthless Tycoon goes to the line very well here.
Head-on's going to be interesting here, Gary, and we'll have a look at
Yes.
that in just a moment. But Ruthless Tycoon just holding on from Crete, who I'd say if the race had been another 20 metres, it probably would have got the money. Now, there is Ruthless Tycoon in the dark colours right there.
Yep.
But watch what happens behind it with Crystal Academy, that horse, El Nino there, and Tilt the Scales in the green cap there. There'll be a fair bit of moving around.
It's funny when you get this position when the wet tracks, often they'll all try and get on that outsider and in that position. They want to hold their position. And you can see here, Crete, he's the one from the outside fence in the all white, just cannot get room. Well, Johnny Leach, you'd have a pretty happy Darren Beedman with you, I would say.
Yes, Darren and Ruthless Tycoon, just a tough, gutsy win, wasn't it?
Fantastic. You know, he drew the wrong side. I had a nice run in behind the lead, and you know, in these straight races, you really need a horse that's taking himself, and you're just a passenger. And you know, all credit goes to Jimmy Mason. You know, the trainer. He said this horse was spot on today, so it's fantastic.
There's the photo film there, Darren. That was where you got through.
Yep.
And they'll be making excuses for others, but top weight, and it was a good effort on a heavy track, wasn't it?
Oh, for sure. You know, it's not easy carrying top weight, and you know, he pulled up really well and run out the strong six strongly.
And you've only had 3 rides on this horse, Darren?
Yeah, first win today, a second and a third, so
well,
good average.
Just keep it going. Good
Thanks,
luck,
mate.
Darren.
Darren Beedman, the winning rider out there with John Letts, and here's the winning trainer, Jim Mason. Good, solid performance, Jimmy.
Yeah, Pete, no, he likes these conditions. He's always had really good straight form, and we're slightly confident today.
When I spoke to Russell Cameron earlier with his horse Depraved, he'd drawn the wrong side of the track and he had to make a beeline for the outside rail, and that's what you've done too.
Yeah, I guess when the rain came and the amount of racing the track's had, you know, Darren came out and said he was going to head over there. Oh, he wasn't going to go quick over there, but just gradually edge his way out there, and I think it helped a lot. Darren
Beedman's obviously got an affinity with this horse. As he said, he's been in the placings all 3 times.
Yeah, the horse does go well. I mean, I was pretty keen to get him on today, and it's reaped benefits for us.
What next for him, Jim?
I'm thinking about running him in that Group 3 1400 at Sandown. I'll just see how he pulls up after this, but I think he's the sort of horse you can just sort of poke around with. He's not a good horse, but he does go very well when the conditions suit.
He's a good horse today because he's won on Melbourne Cup Day, and that's always a thrill.
I'll give him a pat for that, Pete. Don't worry.
Jimmy, well done.
You.
Jim Mason, who trains Ruthless Tycoon, the winner of race 9 this afternoon, and Darren Beedman is coming back to scale aboard this horse now in front of this crowd, which is probably just drifted down a little bit, but it's up around the 92,500 people, which is just remarkable when you consider the amount of rain that we've had overnight and this morning. It's a testimony to the Melbourne sporting public. Tim Webster, I'm sure you'll agree, there's nothing like the Melbourne sporting public when it comes to big events, and they've turned out in their numbers again tonight.
Oh, Pete, you know, as I've said many times, if you could put it in a bottle and sell it, you'd make a fortune, wouldn't you? 93,000, and it really isn't the most pleasant of days. It's been raining and drizzly all day. It's also cool, and it's also a bit windy as well. Now, we've got a brand new sponsor. This is Sherman Ma from Liberty Financial, the Managing Director. G'day.
How you doing?
We always like to welcome our new sponsors. First of all, Liberty Financial, what do you do?
Yes, we're a specialty financial services provider that's very much in tune with the philosophies of the Melbourne Cup. We're very much about giving people a fair go, a fair chance, and level playing field for all folks in financial services.
What made you decide, and many people must ask you for sponsorship dollars, on the Melbourne Cup as a vehicle?
Well, Melbourne Cup's, I mean, that's a landmark event. Again, it is arguably the greatest handicap race in the world. And again, it's very consistent with our philosophies of level playing field and fairness for all.
Yeah. Is you back a winner?
Not yet. Race 10. Race 10. I hear that's a big one.
All right. Well, it's your race. What have you decided? Have you decided to back anything? And yet, what about the boys behind you? The boys from. What do you think, boys? Oh, you can have a look first. You're very, very smart indeed. Well, we just wanted to say welcome, because I'm sure that the VRC, I know, appreciate it, and so do we, and sponsoring a Melbourne Cup Day is pretty special.
Absolutely. Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Sherman Ma from Liberty Financial. Now, Sandra Sully, I haven't seen you for a while, but I imagine you've been having a lovely time, and I know what you're about to do, and that's going to be a thrill.
It's always a thrill, Tim. I'm about to announce the winner of our home viewer fashion competition, and I'm very chuffed to say that the winner today is Mrs. Toon from Clifton Hill in Victoria. Congratulations, Mrs. Toon. And your favourite outfit today comes as no real surprise to me. T Rose, Designer B. So congratulations, Mrs. Toon, and you have won 1 year's supply of L'Oreal beauty products, $1,000 in cash, and a cellar starter kit from Xanadu Wines. And of course, all all the entrants today go into the draw for Thursday's big prize, which we announce on Oaks Day, which is a $10,000 spending spree courtesy of Harvey Norman. So congratulations, Mrs. Toon of Clifton Hill in Victoria, and to all our home viewers, keep watching the telecast and don't forget another 3 designers on Thursday.
Okay, Sandra, thank you. I'm sorry, my Liberty Financial guys are just leaving the studio as we speak. Goodbye, guys. Yeah, closing stages of Melbourne Cup Day for 2001. In case you haven't seen it, and you should have by now, it's been just a wonderful story. Sheila Laxon has trained Ethereal to win the Melbourne Cup, the Caulfield Cup and Melbourne Cup double, which is a training feat. Let me tell you, it really isn't done very often. Only the 5th mare to win the Melbourne Cup since 1965, and that's a feat in itself. The mares and fillies don't win the Melbourne Cup much at all. We're after correct weight for the sprint race. The Pulse Sprint, Chairman of Stewards, Mr. Gleeson, is happy. When he's happy, that means we can pay you the money right around Australia. Danny, if you please.
12.10 and 3.40 Tim for Ruthless Tycoon, 3.40 for Crete and 2.20 Crystal Academy. The Quinella paid $62. Exacta was $116.80. The trifecta $733.80. Running double here in Victoria. Super Tab $149.40. The daily double $176.40. And a very popular betting medium, particularly in Victoria, is the quaddie. $3,234.80 for 4, 13, 11 and 1. It is correct weight. 4th in 17 and 5th in was number 18, Tim.
All right, thank you, Danny. Yeah, Liberty Financial Plate, the 10th and last race here on Melbourne Cup Day is our last one for today. And Peter Donegan and I have been coming a long time. And you know, when it's approaching the end of the day, the seagulls seem to descend. And we tend to think that they might be picking over the remains of some of the punters who've been tearing up tickets all over the place. And that is a real testimony to Melbourne. Upwards of 93,000 people have come to the Melbourne Cup today, and it really wasn't the best of days, but that's the Melbourne sporting public for you. Now, Melbourne, you'll see your last race in the news live. We're about to leave Sydney and Melbourne shortly, so Melbourne, you will see it in the news, and Sydney, of course, will bring you the result and the dividends, and then we'll come back on the other side of it for the other states of Australia. So for Sydney and Melbourne viewers, we'll see you on Oaks Day. The rest of Australia, come back and join us on the other side of this break, the Melbourne Cup of 2001.